Here's the part 2. Before I start, if you haven't listened to my part 1, I recommend you go watch it first, okay? It's not a suggestion, it's a recommendation, okay, guys? If you don't have the discipline to do what I said, which I thought it was the best for you, chances are you're not gonna make it in this industry, okay? Alright, let's get started. I do have a nose beside me, that's why I look away from time to time. So just be aware of that. I'm actually paying attention to my whole thought process and my ideas. Alright, so like the title suggested, okay, there's two aspects of your mental activities. One is outward production, the other is inward production. So the outward one means what's happening in the world, outside of your mind. The price action, the market sentiment, the fundamentals, technical aspects, news, and etc. etc. You have to first develop an edge on how those things plays out, and find your strategy accordingly. Okay. Also, if not more important, okay, here's a part I would assume most people miss out is the inward production. Your physical, mental health, your fitness regime. Can you keep your work-life balance, etc. And I'm gonna bring up something else not many people talk about, which is your emotional volatility. What's happening in your mind, with your moods. It could be as important as what's happening in the market. Okay, just okay. So we all know the famous scientific methodology, whatever you call that, in the people developed in the Western world like 100 years ago. So basically it breaks down into a couple parts, 3-4 parts. You have an idea, then you experience, observe, and you collect some data, and you just come up with the conclusion, confirm your ideas, something like that, right? Trading is not a science. Trading is a game. Trading is a competition. So what's happening really only depends on how people interact, how they make decisions. So let me use an example, okay? To really tell you how it is different than scientific stuff. I mean trading. So if you're on the airplane, okay, and the airplane is crashing, okay, and you have a parachute, right? You don't have prior experience jumping off an airplane. You have no way whatsoever to relate how well you do. You saw someone in a movie or whatnot, but the thing is, you don't have time to make experiment and try out. This is a life and death. It's kind of simplified and extreme version of decision making on the situation that you don't have actual experience to relate off of, right? But either you do it the way they tells you, maybe just jump and push a button and it's gonna set off and you're gonna be safe, or you just panic, you just couldn't do it and then you die, right? So trading is kind of similar, but it's not like a life and death, or like maybe more it's not like you're gonna lose everything overnight and just gonna make shitloads money overnight. That's kind of equivalent of life and death in trading, right? Anyway, so oh my god, yeah, that's the thing I want to say. You always have variables, you always have uncertainties in trading. Each time it's gonna be something different, always, right? So how do you decide how many variables you're gonna have it out there, and how much those variables you're gonna leave it without thinking about it and be comfortable with it, right? So I can give another example. Say if you're a short seller, okay? You have two ways of determining a short setup. One is going to the filing, see how much warrants they have at the market, etc., and you see this gap up, you see this no daily volumes consistently for the past like a couple months or even like a year or two. They're gonna dilute for sure, right? That's your edge. However, the chart, the percentage wise, the gapping percentage and the stuffs might not line up with your presumption. So, but you go with anyway. You go with the fouling, prediction. However, you could have another approach altogether, like you based on your statistics, your the price action and the volume, etc., and you just ignore the filings altogether. Like those two can line up. They can be coherent. It can happen simultaneously, or they can contradict each other, or you just pick one over another. You just go only look at the the filing and determine that way, or you just ignore the filing, you just look at the price action. Either way will make you win in the long run if you do it right. Okay, so you don't have to always look at the both ways, right? So that's kind of where I explain how you gonna leave out some variables and be comfortable with it, and how you make sure the things you under your control is solid. Okay, so so pretty much it's a mental thing versus your logic and reasoning. How you balance your intuition, your instincts with your logical reasoning. It can be really hard. It's not as simple as it sounds like. It's complicated. Well, I give you a tip, okay? Easy way to find out what's going on with your mind, how they line up, your mind and your thoughts, how they can line up, is to see if you are trading P&L. I just found out what that means yesterday. I didn't know what's trading P&L. Pretty much is like you making your decision based on how much money you're down or how much money you're up, right? It's like playing basketball game. If you're down, if you're behind on the scoreboard, you only offend. If you're behind, you only hold on. Let me rephrase. It's like, okay, so if I playing basketball, right? You're behind, you're only focusing on getting back, which means offending only. If you're ahead of the opponents, you're only doing defense. Excuse my English. My English is not my first language. Anyway, so if you think that way, that'll make a whole lot of sense, right? It's like if you're making money, you're trying to secure your money. If you're losing money, you're trying to get it back. It's like a playing game. You're ahead of your opponent. You're only focusing on defense because you want to secure your leads, right? It's ridiculous. That's not how you're gonna make it out of this industry. Okay. Oh my God. So I think that concludes my my whole idea of working on your balancing your inner process and your outward thought process. Anyway, so in conclusion, pay attention to those two parts in technicality and mentality. They're probably as most important. I would say maybe the mentality is more important. Okay. All right. Good luck, guys. Peace.